This is what the Lord says to me with his strong hand upon me, warning me not to follow the way of this people. Do not call conspiracy everything this people calls a conspiracy. Do not fear what they fear, and do not dread it. The Lord Almighty is the one you are to regard as holy. He is the one you are to fear. He is the one you are to dread.
LGBT Pride is on full display in Boston, with the city kicking off the 2019 Pride Parade today at Copley Square. The city is holding its 49th annual Pride Festival this year. It also marks 50 years since the Stonewall riot, which started the gay rights movement. WBZ's Paul Burton was there for the celebration of equality.
Lots of color, costumes, and charisma.
We're celebrating Boston Pride.
Boston's annual Pride Parade got underway on Saturday with record-breaking numbers.
It's a great day for Boston. It's a great day for Pride.
Enough
and
the pride.
I'm thrilled to be here.
Boston Mayor Marty Walsh says this is the biggest Pride Parade in New England and one of the biggest in the country. Folks carrying signs of pride.
This year also marks the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall and riots back in 1969.
It was 3 nights of riots, fighting the cops.
Grand Marshal Dale Mitchell was at Stonewall 50 years ago in New York City during the violent demonstration.
We were filled with rage and frustration.
The Huffington Post reports that Disney will mark a rainbow-hued milestone this summer when Disneyland Paris becomes the first Disney theme park to officially host an event celebrating the LGBTQ community. The French theme park will host Magical Pride on June 1st to kickstart Pride Month. Disneyland Paris wrote of the landmark event on its website, "Dress like a dream, feel fabulous, and experience Walt Disney Studio Park like never before, loud, proud, and alive with all the colors of the rainbow." Though Magical Pride events have been held at Disneyland Paris since 2014, and annual Gay Days have been celebrated at Disney's American theme parks since the early 1990s, these have all been unofficial events, not formally affiliated with Disney.
This is the Drag the Kids to Pride event at Mr. Mister's in Dallas's Oaklawn neighborhood. Organizers promoted it as a family-friendly drag show where kids danced with the performers. What came with it were protests outside.
You people are the symptom of a dying society, and you know it.
You're scaring children. Shut
up.
I live in this community. I have for several years.
Daisy says she first saw a poster for this event near where she lives.
I don't believe that I should be seeing signs advertising for children to be dancing on stage with men in thongs and in inappropriate clothing and makeup.
The organizers say today was a family-friendly event with a safe environment separate from their normal operations. In a statement, they said, "We believe everyone should have a space to celebrate who they are. Mr. Mister's is a place where everyone is welcome to feel accepted, safe, and included."
I've been here like every night throughout the week.
AJ Cruz has worked at Mr. Mister's for about 2 years now. He said today's event allows people to express themselves.
There was a lot less people drinking today, so that would make it more kid-friendly just because there's so many people here. Everyone just came from all walks of life and, just enjoyed Pride.
Organizers said they've received threatening emails and phone calls from the protesters.
I do not in any way condone the behavior that these people are engaging in, but what drags me out here is it's kids now.
Today marks the start of Pride Month nationwide.
And I tweeted out that my Catholic children will be attending Pride events, as this Catholic will. And, my faith always taught me, what would Jesus do?
Yes.
And I know Jesus would be attending that Pride parade.
With pride.
And I also, with pride.
I gotta just say this because it's like, this was the most, overwhelming point of this whole World Pride shit that I saw, right? Of course, I'm a New Yorker. I've been to Pride before. But this whole World Pride thing had a really weird, ritualistic energy to it. I'm just trying to channel and see. And there was just this big white blinding light. It was no, get out. You can't see anything.
I could begin to sense it when I was descending into a spirit world, and I cried out to God, and I said, Lord, I need the blood, I need your protection. Make sure you're right with God and you're ready. Lord, protect me, keep me safe.
The whole thing just felt like a fucking ritual. Like the way people were acting and stuff like that is just like really, really weird.
The sacred goddess, the goddess. Have you ever wondered why all of a sudden there's an explosion in sodomy? You ever wondered why that you've got all this transgenderism going on today? There were definitely sodomite temple prostitutes. The ancient religion of Babylon, they all have one thing in common. Lucifer. He's the light bearer.
I probably said too much.
They're calling it a slut walk.
At a certain point yesterday, like it just felt like there were gargoyles on top of the fucking buildings. Like,
make sure you're right with God. Make sure you're prayed up.
Gargoyles sitting on top of the building, like, you know, making sure that everybody's energy force that gets like sucked down to some like beast beneath the pavement, you know? I'm telling you, I don't know what pot, what vessel, what entity they brought to New York for this parade, bitch. But honey, it was here. It was definitely here, and I felt that creature, and it was just like, yo, I was like kind of shook, like low-key kind of shook.
And up from this pit comes a beast. The scripture says that this beast ascended out of the pit, and it makes war against the saints.
As we celebrate Pride and the progress we've made over these past years, there's still work to be done. So to those of you out there who are still working against equal rights, we have a message for you.
You think we're sinful? You fight against our rights. You say we all lead lives you can't respect. But you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once, you're correct. We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You can keep him from disco, warn about San Francisco, make him wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children. We'll make them tolerant and fair.
At first I didn't get why you'd be so scared of us turning your children into accepting, caring people, but I see now why you'd have a problem with that.
Just like you worried, they'll change their group of friends. You won't approve of where they go at night to protest. Oh, and you'll be disgusted so gross when they start finding things online that you've kept far from their sight. We'll convert your children. Someone's gotta teach them not to hate. We're coming for them. We're coming for your children. We're coming for them. We're coming for your children. We're coming for them. Your children will care about fairness and justice for others. Your children will work to convert all their sisters and brothers. Then soon we're almost certain your kids will start converting you. The gay agenda is coming home. The gay agenda.
Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils.
Drag Queen Storytime at Lansdale Library sparks a rally to protest. The event, called Drag Queen Story Fun Time with Annie, will be hosted by Drag Queen Annie Christ at the Lansdale Library this Saturday. Annie says the event is aimed at spreading awareness about...
You see how far they've come? See how far they've come? That's what I'm saying. They're crawling with them.
elected officials and library staff are promoting a foul-mouthed adult entertainer named Antichrist, a discriminative attack on Christianity as a role model to our small children, and we must take action.
A woman was arrested in front of her children and locked up for 7 hours for calling a female transgender activist by her former male name.
Drag Queen Storytime for Children.
A unique reading program for small children.
Drag Queen Storytime in Lafayette.
It's hosted by a drag queen.
Strong, a group against Drag Queen Story Hours, and Lynn Marr, who is also a member of their group. And Lynn, I want to start with you because you brought us the video that we showed that was for a teen and tween event at the library near you, and we're playing it again now, Renton Library. And they also handed out condoms at that event, right?
There was an event held there billed for teens and tweens. There were vendor tables in the middle of the library, stocked with big bowls of condoms, lube, some items that I had to have explained to me. I didn't know what these were for.
Likes to twerk. Now, does anybody in this room know how to twerk? All right, well, it's quite important to the story, so I will just give you a very quick demonstration. All you need to do is you just stand with your feet sort of shoulder width apart, like so. Okay, and I'll show you at the side, so you get a better view that way. And you're crouched down into this sort of position here, so your bum's sticking out. I hope you're taking this all in. And then you just move your bum up and down like that, and that's twerking.
I have no idea why you want drag queens to read books to your children. I have no idea. What in the hell has a drag queen ever done to make you have so much respect for them and admire them so much? Other than put on makeup and jump on the floor and writhe around and do sexual things on stage. I have absolutely no idea why you would want that to influence your child. Would you want a stripper or a porn star to influence your child? It makes no sense at all. A drag queen performs in a nightclub for adults. There is a lot of filth that goes on, a lot of sexual stuff that goes on. And backstage, there's a lot of nudity, sex, and drugs. Okay? So I don't think that this is an avenue you would want your child to explore.
Oh, honey. If anybody can make a fool out of themselves, it is me. I gotta use this bathroom. Who's in here? Trying to make this damn money. Alright. Goddamn bathroom money. Alright. I done made my money, honey. I do not. Yes, you did. I need some lipstick. I look absolutely terrible. Do I have my shoes? I got my shoes. I don't have any lipstick on, Nelson. My hair is a mess. I've let these men touch all over me for the money. I'm trying to pay my rent. I'm trying to get a new apartment. And I let all these men touch me. Just because I wanted the money. Isn't that terrible? What else is there? What am I going to do? I'm in show business, you know?
You gotta live, bro.
I gotta live, right?
You have to let men touch you.
I didn't even get these. Well, I had a lot of drinks, and I said to myself, I said, you know, what do you want? These guys, they look at you, they want to touch you. Charge them for it, damn it. What's the damn wrong with that, huh? So I just said, oh my.
Drag Queen Story Hour featuring Zuchi Moochie. Zuchi Moochie tweeted, I got to read to the children today, and it was one of the best experiences I've been given. You should have been there. The excitement in the children's eyes was everything. And then a kissy face. And then has a cross-dressing demon speak to kids at her library. Why do you have a cross-dressing demon speaking to kids? Is that normal?
Is this the right direction for our society?
Yeah, someone needs to at least bring this to the attention of parents that may be sending their kids to the library while this is going on. I mean, okay, do you want your kids to be sexualized by a drag queen and a transsexual? That depends if you want to follow Michelle Obama or not. But this is just strange, Zuchi Moochie, and again, it's just It lends to everything we've been talking about, how they want to sexualize the children. They want to bring this demonized culture, like literally satanic culture, into the mainstream, have it at public libraries, and just pass it off as normal, accepted. This is just the norm now.
And they also know that by using something that's so admittedly triggering to a lot of people is that there's going to be discussion about it. And then they can say, if anybody says there's something wrong with it, they're going to decry you as transphobic or not being tolerant of alternate lifestyle choices. When nobody's saying anything like that, what we're saying is this really the best sociological decision for raising our children and for teaching kids literacy?
Baphomet. And if you've ever seen a picture of him, you'll see that he is both male and female, androgyny. Ye are of God, little children. If Satan can never get you to the place where hope is taken out of your soul, then Satan can come and sift you and devour you. I had a constant feeling of being watched and an evil presence in my home. Among other incidents, I was terrified, as were my children. Ye are of God, little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world.
Prostasia Foundation is a new child protection organization dedicated to promoting laws and policies that are both effective and constitutional.
We're a child protection organization and a human rights organization. We're actually the first to bring mental health professionals, human rights activists, sex experts, and internet platforms together.
Prostasia takes an evidence-based approach based on preventing abuse before it happens.
I think we're living in a time when people are frequently willing to think that making policy based on belief is a good idea. I'm not sure that's correct.
We don't shy away from controversy. For example, the idea that maybe we can change the behavior of people with a sexual interest in children, or the fact that the best placed people to keep minors out of sex work or the consensual kink community are sex workers and kinksters.
And so my thing when I encounter minors in kink is, first of all, that's great that you're interested. Please come back when you're 18. Here are some books to read.
We believe that it's possible to protect children while upholding our society's most important values, such as tolerance, diversity, and freedom.
Alan Walker said the word pedophile shouldn't be used to refer to people who are attracted to children because it comes with a stigma.
Walker also said people can be attracted to children without acting on it. Dana Smith has more on what the professor said and the response from Walker and the community.
The controversy surrounding Old Dominion University professor Dr. Alan Walker centers around their argument that not everyone who is attracted to children will abuse children.
It isn't actually a choice. So people are just born with this condition.
In an interview with the Prostasia Foundation, Walker said the term minor attracted people, or MAPS, should be used to describe people who are attracted to children.
It's less stigmatizing than other terms like pedophile. A lot of people, when they hear the term pedophile, they automatically assume that it means a sex offender. And that isn't true, and it leads to a lot of misconceptions about attractions toward minors.
But not everyone sees it that way, including people on campus like Andrew Limbakis, president of the ODU College Republicans.
I'm actually thinking about planning a peaceful protest against Alan Walker.
In the interview, Walker stressed child sexual abuse is never okay. They explained there is a difference between attraction and behavior. Walker said there is no morality attached to attraction because that's something we can't help. The Prostasia Foundation's executive director, Jeremy Malcolm, agrees.
What experts like Dr. Walker are saying is that telling these people that they are inherently bad and doomed to offend is counterproductive.
Criticism about Walker's comments prompted ODU and Walker to release statements over the weekend. The statement from the university reads, "An academic community plays a valuable role in the quest for knowledge. A vital part of this is being willing to consider scientific and other empirical data that may involve controversial issues and perspectives." For their part, Walker said, "Child sexual abuse is an inexcusable crime. The goal of my research is to prevent crime. I embarked on this research in hopes of gaining understanding of a group that previously has not been studied in order to identify ways to protect children." Dana Smith, 13 News Now.
Breaking news, we have just confirmed that a registered child sex offender has been reading to children at a Houston public library as part of its Drag Queen Story Hour.
This was brought to our attention by a group who's been trying to put an end to the program. A media spokesperson for the library confirms one of those drag queens, Tatiana Malanina, is really Alberto Garza, a child sex offender. In 2008, he was convicted of assaulting an 8-year-old boy.
Most parents would not allow that individual to sit in this library, sashay in, and be held up as a role model to our children. Shame on you, Mayor Turner.
Well, it certainly has drawn a lot of attention from mayoral candidates to the governor himself. The revelation that a registered sex offender participated in a story time for children might be surprising in and of itself. And while that volunteer violated library policy 3 times, we've learned the sex offender didn't do anything illegal by volunteering to work with children.
See how far they've come? So what are you saying, preacher? I'm saying they're crawling with demons.
Drag Queen Storytime started at the request of library regulars. It was a hit, but it also has its critics. There was a protest over the program in October outside the Montrose Library branch. There was a lawsuit which was dismissed. But then the library revealed this man, Albert Garza, a registered sex offender, was among those participating. He served time for aggravated sexual assault of an 8-year-old in 2008. The system admitted on Friday it did not conduct a background check on Garza as policy dictates. We've learned that part of the issue was that Garza listed his name as Nikki Salazar when volunteering and did not provide a birth date or social security number. It slipped through the cracks, and he read to children 3 times.
As for the future of the program, it is so popular it has moved to a nearby church to accommodate the large crowds. Drag Queen Storytime happens once a month.
There are no restrictions as to where he can go, live, or with whom he can affiliate. That means he can legally be around children.
Woe to the inhabitants of the earth, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Today we are fearfully witnessing an unprecedented spiraling of moral decadence across this world. The masses, it would seem, hate the good and love the evil.
Hate evil, love good was among the signs held outside of Lansdale Public Library. The controversy surrounded an event inside called Drag Queen Story Fun Time with Annie. It's a public children's book reading to help them understand bullying, diversity, and discrimination. The host, a Lansdale resident, and drag queen who requested the room named Annie Christ.
We think that this event should not be taking place. We think it's not good for the children, and it's wrong.
Something had to be done. Supporters say the message of the event transcends.
The message is about acceptance, and if people are bullying you, you know, it's going to happen, but it's okay to be different and accept yourself.
I'm telling you, if you're a curious type and you see somebody going through things and you think they're demon possessed and you're not saved, get out of there. Because if that demon is cast out of them, it'll go right in you. Don't give place to the devil, folks.
Children's bookseller, where Drag Queen Story Hour drew large crowds inside and out.
It's a response different than anything bookstore owner Ellen Richmond ever expected.
Even my Harry Potter parties years ago, they were big, they were successful, we had a blast. No, the turnout was not like this.
This sea of rainbow here for the Drag Queen Story Hour.
You can be whatever you want to be any time of your life. It doesn't matter.
This drag queen, Ophelia, sharing that exact message to a packed bookstore. This drag queen, Ophelia.
Fire's coming. Hell is on its way. We are in the last days. And I'm here to tell you today, if you don't repent, you will go to hell. Fire is here. Fire and judgment is coming. We are in the last days.
Outside, a smaller, peaceful protest taking place across the street. This group believes children shouldn't be discussing gender and sexuality.
The connection between this drag queen story time and the LGBTQ LMNOP movement is obvious, and we have to take a stand as families.
My agenda is a healthy environment for parents to raise their kids.
Andrew Beckwith is president of the Massachusetts Family Institute. He says an upset parent brought it to their attention. The nonprofit then took to social media calling for drag queen story time to be canceled.
What is it about these guys dressing up like hypersexualized women and reading to small children that they feel the need to do that? It's really kind of concerning.
The few, because there has been very few, the few negative screams and howls that we've received, they've been things like, "Hail Satan." One lady screaming that, "Hail Satan." I mean, so this is not about rights. It's not about giving drag queens the right to educate our children, but it's clearly about a satanic culture. Satan trying to infiltrate and to destroy our children.
A mother and father are suing a school district for nearly $1 million after they say a second grade teacher singled out their 8-year-old son, asking him if he's transgender. The parents tell us that teacher then taught inappropriate lessons right at school, ones they had no idea about.
Those parents in Woodburn tell me their 8-year-old was held back from recess multiple times for one-on-one conversations about his gender identity. They say they had no idea about this. Now, to protect their son's privacy, the mom and dad do not want to share their identities, so off camera tonight and with disguised voices, they're sharing their son's story.
He feels different now. He feels confused.
With their voices disguised and their identity concealed.
To hear your son say that on a couch, talking to a therapist, holding back his tears, is very heartbreaking.
A mother and father want to shine a light on the secret lessons that they say were taking place at this school. One-on-one conversations about being transgender between their 8-year-old son and his second grade teacher.
She should have notified us if that was the case. If he did say he felt like a girl.
The parents say that teacher in Woodburn asked their son if he thought he was a girl. They say she held him back from recess several times to watch videos and read these books about being transgender.
He came home Friday with the books in his backpack.
The parents say they had no idea these conversations were taking place, and that teacher crossed a huge line, taking away their rights as parents, especially on such a personal matter.
Still today, a year later, he still feels if he plays with my niece, he's a girl at that moment. If he plays with my nephew, now he's being a boy.
The mother says her son is left confused and hurt. The parents say that teacher still works at this school, even after the school sent out this letter. It says that evidence was found that the teacher did pull the student from regular school activities, shared potentially controversial materials with the boy, and did discuss gender identity without parents' notification.
It just frustrates me that my son can be influenced that drastically and nothing be done about it. They just wanted to sweep it under the rug.
That lawsuit filed by the parents is accusing that school of negligence, false imprisonment, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The school district tells us they cannot comment on this at this time.
At Heavers Farm Primary, life lessons are an important part of the curriculum. On a classroom wall, the school's values are boldly displayed. Most parents would probably find little to disagree with. But Izzy Montague was horrified when she found out her 4-year-old son would take part in a school event to coincide with Pride.
The event was celebrating gay pride, LGBT. We don't celebrate LGBT at all. I'm Christian. In the Bible, it teaches us about relationships in terms as a man and a woman. And so anything that goes outside of that goes against what we believe in.
Isn't that homophobic?
No.
Pupils at the school at South Norwood in South London were asked to draw pictures and make banners and posters to illustrate what makes them feel proud, and then join a pride march around the building.
Being an ally means that you know it takes many colors to make a rainbow. Gender won't decide the choices we make. Some boys like dressing up, some girls like catching snakes. A family can be made up in many different ways.
It's called SOGI, for Sexual Orientation and Gender Identification, a curriculum that teaches public school students across Canada to celebrate the homosexual lifestyle and that gender is fluid. In other words, your gender is not dependent on what parts you were born with, but rather what you feel like in the moment.
There's people that are boys, there's people that are girls, there are people whose gender might be a little bit of both or might even be neither.
Lessons include books about transgender children, such as 10,000 Dresses, and songs like The Rainbow Song.
Gender won't decide.
The SOGI curriculum started in British Columbia in 2016 and is quickly spreading throughout Canada.
I just thought, who decided that this was okay to teach our children?
Author and inspirational speaker Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson is a leading voice against the SOGI curriculum.
And we are seeing the results of that now because some kids are reacting very emotionally and saying, and they're in fear. Will I suddenly struggle with feeling like a different gender inside of my body?
Carrie Simpson of Culture Guard, another leading opponent, calls the curriculum nothing short of child abuse.
All those beautiful qualities that make young girls, beautiful girls and women, are being basically vilified. The things that make our boys boys are being, taken from them. So things of equating young men to being strong protectors is something that's now evil.
This country is pagan now, and neo-paganism seems to be the norm. Now, neo simply means a new paganism is raising its head in this country. But make no mistake about it, spirits use humans. Yes, they do. They fill them with demonic power, and this power, of course, comes from Satan.
Pictures of students in lingerie and bikinis dancing on teachers.
Now, we do want to warn you, some of you may find some of these images disturbing.
The school is celebrating homecoming week. Yesterday was costume day featuring a man pageant. Multiple pictures were posted and taken down from the school's athletics page. They appear to show students giving lap dances to faculty and staff. Some pictures show female students dressed in Hooters costumes. Other pictures show students and staff paddling each other. One person featured in the pictures is Principal Donald Happy Mobilini, who is also the mayor of Hazard. Some parents say they are outraged. Others say they don't think any lines were crossed.
Everybody who has been to Hazard knows all of the teachers and what happens during homecoming week.
One of the administrators in the pictures is Hazard High School Principal Donald Happy Mobilini. He's also the mayor of Hazard.
Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils.
Wonderful day here at the state capitol. Great day to be a Satanist. I believe it, and I'm very excited about it.
Are they evil or just misunderstood?
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan. Hail Satan. Hail Satan.
State officials have put up a 10 Commandments monument on government property. Satanists are demanding equal rights.
I am a tax-paying member of Arkansas, and I don't want that there.
The temple raised more than $20,000 to commission a statue of the deity Baphomet, hoping to place it next to the 10 Commandments.
Here are two religious faiths that disagree with one another about some fundamental things. What do we think the role of the government should be?
Lane interviewed many members across the country who say they found a place in the Satanic Temple after feeling out of place in other religions.
Satanism is looking out for the other, because we are the other.
I am following a code of ethics, having fellowship with brethren. Why can't that be a religion?
Despite spending years following the temple and its members, as well as becoming close to some of them, Penny Lane says she isn't a convert.
It made me respect religion in a whole new way. It made me think about the possibilities for what religion could be in the future.
Club inspired by Satan is stirring controversy in a local community. Parents and others are concerned about plans for an after-school Satan club at an elementary school. Local 12's Morella Porter spoke with faith leaders and the club's organizers to get advice and a clearer picture of what parents can expect.
The after-school Satan Club is unearthing an uproar. Parents across Lebanon skeptical of the intentions of the group with the hellish name.
We don't believe in a literal Satan, but we do believe that Satan was the first to, ask questions and stand up to tyrannical authority.
Donovan Elementary will be the site of the country's second after-school Satan Club. Monthly meetings start next week, open to children grades 1 through 5. Social media making it clear a lot of people don't want the club here. Superintendent Isaac Seaver sending this letter to parents after approving the club's request to rent space at the school. Seaver's emphasizing the school district does not endorse the group or other religiously affiliated groups, explaining that public schools must allow all religious groups or none. The Good News Club, an evangelic program, has met after school at Donovan for years. June Everett, a minister of the Satanic Temple, tells me their club is an alternative to that.
We do not believe in an actual devil. In our clubs, we do not do any sort of rituals or devil worshiping or any kind of sacrificing of goats, all the scary things that are kind of made up in people's heads. We simply, where kids can be kids, where they can interact with other children.
Pastor Doug Sipsey doesn't buy it. He says even if they claim not to worship Satan, it doesn't sit right with him.
It may look warm and fuzzy on the outside, but when you really get down to it, there is a culture of worshiping Satan here.
He knows the school board is in a tough place.
The United States Naval Academy is providing a room on campus for midshipmen interested in the Satanic Temple. An email went out October 8th announcing the start of Satanic services.
But the truth of the matter is, we've gotten to the point in this country where people don't know what truth is anymore. When truth becomes a relative thing, then we are in trouble.
Goldbrick says he identifies as an 8-year-old girl.
I have always been an 8-year-old girl, and even my drawings and fantasies, I am always an 8-year-old girl.
Explain to young people the popular mainstream actors and musicians they adore, idolize, and model after are not real people. Help them understand they are controlled, manufactured products of an industry that promotes and or covers up Satanism, pedophilia, drug abuse, mind control, and murder.
A devil.
You ever wonder why, when you turn on mainstream media, you see what you see?
To make sure your nuptials are done properly, we shall hold a ball.
Cinderella, you don't need to go to the ball.
Please, stepmother, I spent weeks making this dress. My future depends on it.
The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God.
I am your fabulous godmother.
You threw me down, but I'm gonna fly. Rise like a phoenix out of the ashes, seeking rather than vengeance. Retribution, you were won. Once I'm transformed, once I'm reborn, you know I will rise like a phoenix. But you're my
Welcome to the Pink Palace, my lovely friends.
I first discovered drag at 13. I didn't know what it was, but I knew I wanted it. Put on the wig and the makeup, and I'm someone completely different.
I'm so pretty!
My drag name is Vanessa Shimmer, and she is just a force you cannot reckon with.
How do I parent a child that wants to do drag?
I never expected drag to be a part of our lives.
Oh my God, these are so cute.
These are problems I never thought I had to prepare for.
What I love about drag is the glitz and the glam.
My name is Noah, and I'm transgender.
This is me, and you better like it.
Bye.
Please welcome Desmond Napoles, aka Desmond is Amazing. Hello, Desmond. How are you? How you doing?
Thanks for being here.
With all the challenges facing our nation, what words of wisdom do you have for us?
Well, the single most important thing I can say is to vote. With the midterm elections coming up, it's very important for people to make their voices and their vote heard.
Well, thank you so much for the work you've done and the work you continue to do tirelessly for our freedom. Your tenacity is something that we all look up to.
We throw the word master class around here all the time, but that sarcastic, shady clap you do was epic.
It was completely unintentional.
We have prayers in our hearts to keep you strong.
Well, thank you for that. May God bless America. Can I get an amen?
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Identify as non-binary. With that said, I'll officially be changing my pronouns to they, them.
My very good friend, Alok Ved Menon. Thank you so much for being here, Alok.
Congrats on coming out as non-binary.
Thanks.
I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit.
Come hither. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Mystery. Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
DaBaby has issued an apology to the LGBTQ+ community for his recent comments. The rapper takes to Instagram addressing the statement he made on stage at Rolling Loud Music Festival. DaBaby ends his statement apologizing to the LGBTQ+ community for the hurtful and triggering comments I made.
Or the first woman president.
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
No, Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Joan Rivers, one of the giants of American comedy, has died in New York.
Of the finest military in the world. Most of all, Admiral Mullen, Deborah, Michael and I.
The kids asked me, they said, you've got to ask the president, does anything scare him?
You know, well, when when Michelle's mad, when Michelle's mad.
Hello from sunny South Florida. I'm on the set of another gay sequel.
That would be great for him to be coming out of this.
Say hello to RuPaul. Hello, everyone. How you doing? This is so much fun. All these gorgeous men. Are you in a relationship? With God. You are? No, actually, no, that's not true. I'm in a relationship with Satan. We love Satan. Join us, won't you?
I can tell you that the #1 problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be pedophilia.
Everyone can do drag. Everyone can do drag.
Everyone can.
Your mom can do drag.
What has this world come to? It's come to a world where drag kids actually exist.
And people do ketamine on a couch. And people do ketamine on a couch.
Some people on the campus saying pronouns like he, she, him, or her do not represent them accurately.
Time now for the ridiculous, and tonight I'd like to address something sometimes referred to as the gay agenda. Now, I've never actually been to the secret meeting where the gays plot their agenda, though I imagine the catering is quite amazing.
There's gonna be drag kids in the world. And I'm one of them.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made.
Including the U.S. government, British government, the UN.
I'm here representing civil society.
The space program.
You know, he was talking about Epstein a long time ago.
I know.
A long time ago. He was saying there was a fucking island, and they take all these rich politicians and some celebrities, and they bang these kids. And I was like, come on. He was telling me this a long time ago. So he's also the one who told me about Bohemian Grove. Former presidents go. There's a photograph of, it's Ronald Reagan with Herbert Walker Bush and a couple other people all standing around. And they would put on robes and they would worship an owl god, and they would burn an effigy, but it's like shaped like a body.
Yeah.
And then they drop it on the fire, and they're all worshiping an owl god. And they're dressed like druids.
Is that camera on me? Friends at the Bohemian Grove. I went to a summer camp. We had bonfires. We wore robes. I mean, not like maybe what you do. I just want to say, listen, I won't tell anybody. I got a podcast. I want you to tell Joe. Let me in. I'll worship Moloch.
And the entire entertainment industry.
The great is fallen, is fallen.
More dangerous TikTok trends. This time, it's challenging them to slap a teacher.
There are shadows all around me, and they want me to fall. Don't let me fall, Father. They want to poison me. They want to deceive me. Please send your angels, Father.
Wonderful world, such a wonderful world, a wonderful world to live in.
They want to poison me. They want to deceive me.
The lost workers in this labor shortage.
Contrary to the popular belief spread by the radical scientists, eugenics for much of the 20th century was a favorite cause of the left, not the right. It was championed by many progressives, liberals, and socialists, including Theodore Roosevelt, H.G. Wells, Emma Goldman, George Bernard Shaw, Harold Lasky, John Maynard Keynes, Sidney and Beatrice Webb, Margaret Sanger, and the Marxist biologists J.B.S. Haldane and Herman Muller. It's not hard to see why the sides lined up this way. Conservative Catholics and Bible Belt Protestants hated eugenics because it was an attempt by intellectual and scientific elites to play God.
The Mike Wallace Interview. In the eyes of some, Margaret Sanger has been a heroine. In the eyes of others, she's been a destructive force.
In her own words, Sanger pushed for a society that limited births to those she deemed fit to have children.
I think the greatest sin in the world is bringing children into the world that have disease from their parents, that have no chance in the world to be a human being, practically. Delinquents, prisoners, all sorts of things just marked when they're born.
In 1916, Sanger opened the country's first birth control clinic. As a member of the American Eugenics Society, she advocated improving the genetic composition of humans through controlled reproduction of different races and classes. She often wrote about the issue in the journal she founded, called the Birth Control Review. In 1919, writing,
I personally believe in the sterilization of the feeble-minded, the insane, and the syphilitic.
Planned Parenthood is on the defensive this morning, facing an investigation of its practices. An undercover video alleges the reproductive health organization sells body parts from abortions. The group says the claims are flat out untrue. Jan Crawford is in Washington, where 3 congressional committees are now getting involved. Jan, good morning.
Well, good morning. So the video was secretly recorded by the anti-abortion group as part of a 2.5-year sting operation. Here, 2 members posed as employees of a biotech firm to get access to a top doctor at Planned Parenthood. And over lunch, they recorded the whole conversation.
A lot of people want attack parts these days.
In graphic detail, Planned Parenthood's Senior Director of Medical Services described how to preserve valuable fetal tissue during an abortion.
We've been very good at getting parts on liver because we know that so I'm not going to crush that part. I'm going to basically crush below, I'm going to crush above, and I'm going to see if I can get it intact.
Over wine and salad, she answered questions about the organization providing fetal tissue to researchers, typically for a fee.
I would say it's probably anywhere from $30 to $100, depending on the facility and what's involved.
The backlash was immediate. Republican presidential candidates pounced.
I just think it's outrageous and disgusting.
The president said something about abortion. And he mentioned the governor of the state of Virginia.
The governor of Virginia, where he stated he would execute a baby after birth.
And he talked about infanticide.
Who is Baal from the Old Testament? Baal was an idol or a god with a little g that Israel used to worship when they would go back to their terrible ways. Historically speaking, Baal is also associated with fertility and being the god of storms. People would sacrifice their sons and their daughters to this idol, and they even committed terrible acts of sexual perversion. And you already know Elijah fixed that real quick, but anyway. Now, from doing a little bit of research on this idol, I found something very, very interesting. Now, this may not be true, but I'm going to share this with you. Now, the ancient people who worship Baal made a covenant with him. But is it possible that the spirit of Baal goes on with modern-day abortion, or even the increasing divorce rates? Baal, who is basically Satan or on Satan's side, wants you, wants your children, and wants you and your wife or you and your husband to be out of unity. Let me know what
Members of this satanic temple and pro-life groups were actually clashing when it came to abortion rights, as Utah's access to abortion has been questioned.
Well, Utah is one of several states asking the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade.
The new Texas abortion law continues to face resistance.
The Satanic Temple has filed a letter with the Food and Drug Administration arguing that abortion is a faith-based right of its members.
Massachusetts is suing Governor Brad Little and Idaho Attorney General Lawrence Wasden over the current Idaho abortion ban. According to federal court documents obtained by KREM2, the Satanic Temple says the state violates its members' religious freedoms.
Indiana's new abortion law, filed by the Satanic Temple.
About abortion. I know we don't often go there, but abortion is one of those words folks sometimes say in a whisper, if we say it at all.
But if we don't talk about abortion, we're going to lose the right to it. And that's a problem, a huge problem. If you're anything like me, you don't want politicians all up in your uterus deciding what you can and cannot do with our bodies and making decisions about our families for us.
For nearly 50 years, Roe v. Wade was the law of the land, and we had the constitutional right to safe, legal abortion. But not anymore.
It's been 4 months since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade.
Since then, lawmakers in nearly a third of U.S. states have banned abortion.
That means 1 in 3 American women have already lost the right to control their own bodies. 1 in 3. It's up to all of us to take back that right.
We're living in a very deceitful time. One of the tactics of the devil is that he can transform himself. Shekinah is attached to Kabbalah. The Kabbalah is nothing rehash of Babylonian religion. The Shekinah is a female spirit. It has to do with the illumination of the illumined one. You're literally saying Lucifer. Folks, we are being bombarded today. And we are being bombarded in a manner that I don't think a lot of us even appreciate. It's bad, and it's getting worse.
Inspiration when you were younger.
There's all the fabulous evil queens, and look at me now.
And that's your inspiration, evil queens. I'm looking.
Because the spirit now that permeates this age is a Luciferian spirit. The Illuminati, or whoever they are, or call themselves, or whatever they are, at the top, at the very top of the top, they're Luciferians. They worship Lucifer. He's the one who came to Eve and says, God doth know that in the day you eat this fruit, you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. But he's not an angel, folks. Satan is a cherubim. Ezekiel chapter number 28, thou art the anointed cherub that covereth. In Ezekiel chapter number 28, the Bible says, thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast in the holy mountain of God. And he talks about all of these precious stones and these musical instruments that were his covering. This cherubim was directly connected with singing and worship of God. And there is, to this very day, 2 distinct lines of music.
In the book of James, chapter 2, verse 19, it says, thou believest that there is one God, thou doest well. The devils also believe and tremble.
Glory to God.
I can do all things through Christ. Hallelujah.
In the name of Jesus.
And that Bible said, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. When you think it's time to throw in the towel,
Father, I
when you
thank
think that there's no hope on the horizon, when you think that God has forsaken you, when you think that there's no need, there's no peace, that you'll never have what you had before. I'm talking about the God-man that lived 2,000 years ago, that said to Satan in the wilderness, get thee hence, Satan. I'm talking about the one who in weakness went to the cross and died so I could be saved. Get thee hence, Satan.
In the mighty name of Jesus.
To declare, I say, at this time his righteousness. Hearken to God. Why? Because they've been reduced to the essence of life is their relationship with God. Once you're reduced to the essence of life, then God can build you back up. How many of you know that you serve a living God? You're not serving an ideology, you're not serving a doctrine, you're serving him that liveth from everlasting to everlasting. Thou art God. He's not dead. But every last one of them out there that's not him is dead. Something carved out of stone, something created with man's mind. The only one that lives is Jehovah, the Lord Jesus Christ.